Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary.
Karoline Leavitt, the new press secretary under President Trump, has been making waves, taking on Karine Jean-Pierre, the Biden administration's press secretary, in dramatic press room moments. What's behind the growing tensions between the two? Why have these confrontations sparked so much attention and left Karine scrambling for answers? Let's break down the key moments that are shaking up the White House press room.
It has come down in a way that we haven't seen its trajectory coming down in over a decade.
Still
and it is
$4 a gallon,
okay.
though. Is that good?
When Karine Jean-Pierre was appointed as press secretary, her historic position as the first Black, openly gay, and immigrant woman in the role sparked celebration and high expectations. However, her early press briefings quickly became marked by awkwardness. She frequently stumbled through answers and was criticized for deflecting questions. Many observers noted her struggles to maintain control during the briefings, which contrasted sharply with her predecessor, Jen Psaki, known for her sharpness and composure. The real shift came with Karoline Leavitt, who took on the role as President Trump's press secretary. Leavitt's confident, direct approach made an immediate impact. She answered questions with clarity and conviction, earning praise for her ability to handle difficult topics without hesitation. "I'm here to give you the truth, not dodge questions," Leavitt said during one of her briefings, a stark contrast to Jean-Pierre's approach. This change led many to question the dynamics in the current press office.
I was doing Media Row, and I was pregnant with my child. I was wearing this big blazer, and now I have a 7-month-old baby, and we're at the White House. So it's been a good year.
From the outset, Karoline approached her role with a no-nonsense attitude. Her opening statements were direct and assertive, focusing on the clear commitments President Trump was making to serve the American people. The media was in for a shock when they saw someone who wasn't afraid to speak their mind, and Karoline didn't waste time setting the tone. Her first big moment came when she addressed the chaos left behind by the Biden administration. Leavitt hit hard with facts, focusing on the disastrous border policies and the state of the economy. But what really stood out was her unapologetic delivery. Unlike Karine, who often avoided direct answers, Karoline faced tough questions head-on and shot back with undeniable truths. Her statement on illegal immigration had the press scrambling. "If you're a foreign national who illegally enters the United States, you are by definition a criminal," she said, adding, "and therefore you are subject to deportation." It was a line that hit hard, especially after years of what seemed like a silent acceptance of illegal crossings under the Biden administration.
So oftentimes we were dealt with defending some of the things that he had said or done, and it made it difficult because we were pushing forth policies.
As Karoline Leavitt's prominence grew, tensions in the press room began to intensify. Karine Jean-Pierre's struggle to effectively address difficult questions left her increasingly vulnerable, while Leavitt appeared more than ready to take advantage of the situation. One of the most memorable moments came when a reporter asked Karine about President Biden's health. A recent poll showed that 72% of Americans questioned Biden's mental fitness to lead, putting Jean-Pierre in a tough spot. She attempted to defend the president, stating, "President Biden is in excellent health. He remains active, engaged, and his doctor, Dr. O'Connor, has made it clear that he is fit to lead." However, as she fumbled through her defense, Karoline Leavitt seized the opportunity to criticize the Biden administration for avoiding tough questions. Leavitt remarked, "The American people deserve the truth, not deflections. This administration has been running from hard questions for far too long, and that needs to change." Her sharp contrast to Jean-Pierre's approach highlighted the growing divide in the press room. As the days went on, it became clear that Karine Jean-Pierre was out of her depth. Reporters began to notice a pattern. When the tough questions hit, Karine didn't provide clear answers. Instead, she would often resort to vague generalities, shifting the conversation to emotional or race-based responses rather than focusing on the facts. Take the moment when Karine was asked about Hunter Biden's involvement with the White House. Instead of answering the question directly, Karine deflected and dodged, insisting that it was a family matter. But when pushed further about Hunter's plea deal, she had no choice but to dance around the truth and say, "I just don't have anything to share." Karoline Leavitt, on the other hand, didn't mince words. When asked a similar question about President Trump's policies, Karoline fired back with precision. She didn't dodge anything. She didn't shy away. She answered with conviction and clarity. And the press was listening, because they knew that Karoline was speaking the truth, while Karine was caught in a web of deflections and contradictions. Karoline Leavitt's moment of triumph came when she took aim at White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre during a press briefing, delivering a sharp critique of the Biden administration's stance on illegal immigration. The tension escalated when Karine Jean-Pierre attempted to defend the administration's approach, claiming that the Biden administration was focused on deporting only violent offenders. She framed the situation as a targeted effort to prioritize dangerous criminals over others, but Karoline wasn't having it. With unflinching confidence, Karoline shot back, saying, "If you're an individual who illegally enters this country, you are a criminal. End of story." The statement left the press room in stunned silence, as Karoline's blunt response directly challenged the administration's narrative, refusing to allow for any ambiguity. It was a clear and decisive declaration that encapsulated her stance on the issue. There were no exceptions, no gray areas. For Karoline, anyone who enters the country illegally should be held accountable, regardless of their personal circumstances or status. Karine Jean-Pierre, caught off guard, had no immediate response. The administration's talking points seemed to falter under the weight of Karoline's straightforward approach, and Jean-Pierre was left scrambling to defend a policy that seemed increasingly indefensible in the face of such a direct challenge. Karoline had effectively dismantled the administration's argument with one powerful, unyielding line, leaving the press secretary unable to offer facts, figures, or any substantial counterpoint. The media's reaction to the growing tension between Karoline Leavitt and Karine Jean-Pierre was swift and intense. As the confrontations unfolded, the broader public couldn't help but take notice. Social media exploded with reactions, with many viewers expressing their surprise at Karine Jean-Pierre's inability to handle tough questions. Twitter was flooded with posts criticizing her performance, with one user commenting, "Karine Jean-Pierre is way out of her depth. She can't even answer simple questions. It's painful to watch." Meanwhile, others praised Karoline Leavitt for her confidence and professionalism, calling her a breath of fresh air in comparison. "Karoline Leavitt is a boss," one tweet read, while another stated, "Finally, someone who doesn't shy away from the truth." Major political figures and news outlets also chimed in on the growing divide. Fox News, which has been known for its conservative stance, made Leavitt's performance a major talking point. Commentators lauded her ability to handle difficult questions and take a direct stance on issues, with one calling her refreshing and unapologetically bold. They commended her for delivering responses without hesitation, a stark contrast to Jean-Pierre's frequent stumbles. However, the most surprising response came from Karine Jean-Pierre's supporters. Even some of her allies began to express doubt about her qualifications for the role. A well-known political analyst commented, "It's becoming hard to defend her when she can't even respond to basic questions without dodging." As the criticism mounted, Karine Jean-Pierre's once prominent position began to look more precarious, with many questioning her effectiveness in the role of press secretary. By the end of the week, Karoline Leavitt had solidified her position as a rising star in the White House. The media was no longer just talking about her. It was analyzing her every move, her every statement. And with each passing day, she proved that she was more than capable of handling the heat. But Karine Jean-Pierre? Well, let's just say her press briefings were becoming more and more cringeworthy. Every time she spoke, the press room seemed to grow more and more impatient. The American people were tired of the deflections, tired of the excuses. They wanted someone who could answer the hard questions, and Karoline was giving them just that. So, what's next for Karoline Leavitt and Karine Jean-Pierre? Will Karoline continue to dominate the press briefings and leave Karine scrambling for cover? Or will Karine find a way to step up her game? The White House press room is about to get even more heated, and we're all here for it. What do you think of Karoline's performance? Is she the future of press secretaries, or do you think Karine can make a comeback? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest gossip and insider info. This is just the beginning, folks! Stay tuned for more as the drama unfolds.